Hey guys, Miss Greg here. Alright, so let's get on with our directions so we know what to do today. So first thing on our list is our attendance form. Please make sure you're filling out your attendance forms every day on time. I look at if you filled it out on time, and if you filled it out on time, you are present for the day. If not, then I have to mark you absent. So please make sure you're filling out your form every day so I can mark you present. The next thing on your list is the July 14th assignment. We are going to go over it right now. All right, so this is what your assignment looks like. So let's read it and go over it together. So it says the prosecution and defense have both rested their cases. Think about all the witnesses' testimonies and evidence that was presented at the trial. Your assignment is to write a closing argument for either Sandra Petrocelli, the prosecutor, or Kathy O'Brien, the defense attorney for Steve Harmon. So you're going to pick one of them. I just want you to pick one. You're only writing one closing argument. If you think Steve is innocent, you're going to write for Kathy O'Brien. If you think Steve is guilty, you're going to write for Sandra Petrocelli. So after you've chosen if you're going to write for Sandra Petrocelli or Kathy O'Brien, you're going to start actually writing your closing argument. So a closing argument or summation is a concluding statement of each party's counsel to retelling the important arguments for the jury in a court case. A closing argument occurs after the presentation of evidence and may not contain any new information and only use evidence introduced at the trial. So what we need to know, first of all, that closing argument is a summary of the defense's arguments or the prosecuting arguments. It does not have to be overly long. We can make these fairly short. So it occurs after everyone has given their presentation of evidence. We read the closing arguments in the last chapter of our novel, and it cannot contain any new information. So we're not making up information and putting it in here. We're using the stuff we already know. So I did write out steps. There are 5 steps to writing this. So the first one, establish your argument. Remind the jury what you promised to show them during your opening statement. So if you are writing for Sandra Petrocelli, you are saying Steve Harmon is guilty. If you're writing for Kathy O'Brien, you're saying Steve Harmon is innocent. That's all number 1 is. That's all you have to do for number 1. Say if he's guilty or say if he's innocent. Our next one is to summarize your major arguments by highlighting what each witness helped you prove. So here's the thing. You could go about this 2 different ways. I'm only going to look for about 3 to 4 major arguments in this writing assignment. So you could go back to your July 14th assignment, look at those 2 tables you filled out, and you have all of those final arguments right there. Or you can go back to the lit charts I sent you earlier, about a week or so ago, and those will also have all of the information too. It just might be a little bit more to sort through. I would recommend using your July 14th reading assignment to write this closing argument. All right, so after you have your 3 to 4 major arguments, you're going to move on to step number 3. Refute opposition arguments. Attack the opposing side by challenging their positions, theories, and witnesses. So I'm just looking for 2 to 3. Figure out 2 to 3 different arguments your opposition has made. So for example, if you're writing for Sandra Petrocelli, think of 2 to 3 arguments Kathy O'Brien made that you could refute. Or on the flip side of that, if you're writing for Kathy O'Brien, think of 2 to 3 arguments you could refute for Sandra Petrocelli. Number 4, close your argument, making a lasting impression on the jury. End with a strong message about why the case is important and why they should rule in your favor. Consider using emotional appeals. So if you remember way back when we talked about ethos, pathos, logos, this is the time to lay on the pathos. Make them feel something at the end, and tell them why is it important that Steve is found guilty or that Steve is found innocent. And then finally, tell the jury directly what you need them to do. So if you are arguing that Steve needs to be found guilty, you need to tell the jury you need to find Steve guilty. If you are arguing that Steve is innocent, you need to say you need to find Steve innocent. I did put the grading for the assignment at the bottom. It's 4 points for quality of information, so your information is clear and thorough. 4 points for that rebuttal, so refuting the opposing counsel's opposing counsel's argument. Use the facts, so you're supporting your points with facts from the novel. And organization, so your entire closing argument is organized in a logical fashion and is easy to follow. All right, so I'm giving you today to do this and tomorrow to do this. I'm going to have this due 11:59 on Sunday. So as long as it's turned in before Monday morning, you're fine. Take some time on it, think about it, and really dig into the writing assignment. All right, I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.